I'm really curious how Cedric is going to interact with me, knowing that he doesn't have, knowing about the Awakened. Oh my God, Rosie could tell them that I'm here. Oh no!
Also for Rousseau, hide your kids, hide your,
Hammers.
Hide your
your
kids, hide your
fire,
doc spawn, everyone. Hide your kids, hide your doc spawn.
hide your kids, hide your dark spawn, and hide your blood mages too, because Cedric Ashwood and Andrea are coming in over here.
Right into the belly of the beast.
Yep. Vala at the caravan, she's keeping an eye on Rosie. And so when Rosie sneaks off and Vala just swoops in with, oh no, Rosie went to tell them.
Well, that's true. We didn't bring
That's true.
Rosie.
You didn't bring Rosie, which means Rosie probably is free to go wherever she pleases.
She's probably going to be here anyway, so there you go.
So there you go.
The question is,
All
are we
right.
going to meet up with her, or is she going to go to the White Spire right away? Because if we happen to meet up at the same time, that would be interesting. But if she goes right away, then they'll probably be like, you are a Darkspawn. And I'm like... Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 8th vlog for Dragon Age Ascension Session 8, also known as the start of Daretham Intervention, and also just emotional gut punches in general.
There, you took my romance, damn it!
It took my romance.
I'm only joking.
Nazeem's still single, I think. I think Tyrion can work his magic.
Oh,
yeah. He's going to a new people, whatever.
And don't forget, Tion, the DAA Tion is still a very prominent.
Yes.
Yeah, Tion is still...
Yes, I went and saved that ship for you. You're welcome.
Yeah.
When I will say while we're on the topic, that when Leon had his nightmare and he was asking Tyrion, do you have something like a remedy for nightmares? I was thinking in my head, well, a good snuggling or cuddling is good medicine for nightmares. So
I mean, I don't have any medication, but I do have a physical procedure.
Oh no.
It's called massaging.
The doctor prescribes one cuddle session just for you.
Oh.
It's not on that level yet. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's up to Sam and me to decide.
I am curious, all joking aside, I am curious, have any of you decided, this sounds really weird, decided how your character swings? Have you thought about that? Or are you just kind of feeling it out and seeing what happens?
I'm feeling it out. I'm more based on personality. I'm pretty sure Daretham would mostly be, he'd be straight or bi. He wouldn't be gay. I mean, it's freaking obvious. He's had a wife.
Right.
So, my gut tells me he's straight, but he also may be bi. I'm not sure yet. It depends, because he hasn't met anyone besides Darren. So I feel like probably straight for me, because I'm the boring straight white guy. Hi, guys.
Fair enough.
That's actually one of the first things I tend to decide about my character. This sounds weird, and I fully acknowledge that, but I imagine my character in sexual situations to be like, how would they react? And with Pasha, I was like, sexual situation with a dude, and Pasha in my brain is just like,
Okay.
Sexual situation with a girl? No, that's still holding hands. That's acceptable. I'm like, okay, asexual. I could work with this.
Okay.
Oh.
I like that.
That makes a lot of sense for Pasha being asexual.
That does make a lot of sense for Pasha. Yes. Okay.
And it's also not commonly shown, so I like that that's also a thing.
She didn't say. So, did you, in your thought process of this, think about role play? Role play. You said sexual reactions, but how about just role play? Which is between holding hands and the blech. Between
she just one day returns to Rainier like, I was so wrong. I've discovered my talent. Come with me.
There we go.
You're my type.
That's Pasha's epilogue. That's the entire.
She becomes the dominatrix.
She does the choking. Yes, she's choking.
So because apparently Tyrion has been getting all the love, sort of, from many people, I mean, originally, generally most of my characters are straight because, well,
Yeah.
I'm also straight.
course.
But I don't know.
Makes sense.
Tyrion is. I don't know. He's got a lot of people seem to like him. He's the heart of the group. Who knows? Maybe he might not discriminate. I don't know.
So you're keeping it open. You're keeping the it open. Okay,
Very
fair
much
enough.
feel-
Very, yeah. No, I totally get that. It's easier for your character to be the same sexuality as your own. I get that. So
Yeah.
no problem with that. But anyway,
When it comes to Russo, like one thing I've always tried to do is separate myself from my character's sexuality included. And because I'm straight in real life, I've been open to playing like different things. But in Russo's case, I really haven't set in stone, but I'm leaning slightly towards straight.
yeah,
Like I feel like that's just how he is.
yeah, totally fine, totally fine. How about Leon?
So, I mean, I haven't really thought about that. I was just sort of going to go with the feel it out, but I do agree with Callista as in I do, you know, the like holding hands. Yeah, I could see that, but you know, like I don't know. I guess, I don't know.
He's also much younger, so
Yes,
you're younger
he's-
too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
you got the stuff on.
but that doesn't mean that your sexuality hasn't been like
Yeah.
plus
not
he was
established.
super repressed because Circle. So
Yeah.
True.
Circle.
True. Circle, yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot
So-
of there's a lot of stories about how because they're so repressed in the circle, even if you are quote unquote straight, you might still, because it's like I'm not getting it anyway. So if I can get it from somewhere, I'll get it. I'll take it. so cool. Well, thank you for entertaining my question. How's that to start things off?
though also it is funny just real quick because I like though I am straight, I definitely do have some like more bi tendencies occasionally. Like there are some guys that I look at and I'm just like, I tap that, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's mostly for me more of a role play thing where Darren feels like he'd probably be straight.
What else do you guys want to talk about? I'm sure this isn't the only topic that you want to talk about.
Oh,
This is the end of the vlog, guys. We're done.
That's
Not
it.
talking
We're
about
done.
anything else.
Now that
Yep,
That's it.
pack
Yep.
it up.
All
Yeah,
right. See ya.
we're good, guys. Okay, bye.
What was
I
going
know
on
I-
with Antonia?
Antonio.
Oh yeah.
Smile at the end, being like, like that.
Yeah.
What? Why?
She's
I
got
don't
plans.
trust her.
It's Antonia. Who would you trust?
And
who would you-
also keep in mind the parent Clara and David put the books in a Navarran library, and it is the wording on the riddle. What's the exact wording on the riddle, Sam?
Seek out our colleague Dark Oak, where one is privileged to file yet shackled at the same time.
Privileged to file yet shackled. Manfred?
Oh,
No, you do have a point there.
And that
Yeah.
could mean that maybe it's not him, but it's Antonia. Dark Oak. Maybe they're connected to Redonis somehow, or Antonia, or it's all a big conspiracy.
It could be.
I'm not gonna lie, Dom. The way my brain took where your brain was going a completely different way. I was like, Leon, Manfred is actually your father. And you go, he's just like my son, and then you see like a few red-headed wisps, and you're just
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
he just goes, Leon, you are my son. in the most, it's the most slowest start.
It can't
That's
be.
right.
Not true.
It's not true.
Impossible.
Yes. It doesn't even say anything, he just nods.
Search your magic. You know it to be true.
Search your redheadedness. You know it to be true.
Lots and lots of moments and scenes.
Mhm.
Oh
Lots
yeah.
of great.
Can we have like a 3-hour vlog to talk about all the moments in the 5-hour game?
Oh, just all the emotional gut punching we were doing 24/7.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. We can go in order.
Yeah. I guess since I mentioned Dareth Intervention, I'll just go real quick over his stuff. So, because I talk way too much. So, started off with, I forget what was in the beginning, but I'm just going to start with Rousseau. Oh, no, it was Darren first, right? So, with Darren, he wanted to apologize, and I said this before, but like, because he made an assumption about her, like I said, and he was like, I don't like to do that with other people anyway, so I want to apologize because I kind of agree with you even more than Tyrion. And then when she lent out the handkerchief, it was not seen that way, but later on when his hand touched it at the very end, he kind of saw it as almost like a token of a second chance when Pasha put that forward to him. So Darren was the first one to make him see that he could possibly have a second chance. Like it is possible. And then Rousseau was kind of like the person who in the most kindly way he could, which is not very, and it's appropriate, he said, like, Dareth just thought, I need to let Rousseau trust me more because otherwise when this fully gets revealed, it's going to be bad. So doing that and then having Rousseau just full on spit in his face and be like, you're actually able to hide behind that veneer because you didn't have a choice. Now you do. And kind of basically imply that you're wasting your life now. And you're to his, what Daretham heard was, you're dishonoring the memory of your family. And then to get the final thing with Pasha, which was, by the way, so much fun to discuss philosophy with you, Callista. Thank you for that. That was awesome. And Daretham kind of like, he knows he's a hypocrite, but he wasn't acknowledging that he was a hypocrite. And at the very end, I even wrote down a little thing of what happened. So Pasha then spoke to him, and her final words were, and paraphrase, that Anashkari was observing a swarm of locusts in its path of destruction, and said that locusts cannot be blamed for being locust. And he realized, as the locusts were replaced by darkspawn, he remembered Cerys once again, and as he remembered the taste of blood in his mouth, he realized that she wouldn't want him to blame himself for being a locust. And though he hasn't forgiven himself, for the first time in 1,200 years, he cries, not for his sister, nor his wife, nor his parents, nor the thousands he has slain, but he instead cries for himself.
Yes.
Oh, yay. That's so nice to hear.
Darkspawn have feelings. Hashtag.
Hashtag Darkspawns cry too.
Yeah.
And since then, he's also going to honor, like, I think also what Balin kind of represented him was that nostalgia, but almost in a bad way. Like it was reminding him in a painful way. But that last moment, I think, as he was looking to Balin and sitting next to Darren, he was like, okay, maybe it's possible to let go. Maybe. And that was really cool because it happened in the span of like only a few days, and it really convinced him. So that's me. I'm done. Okay.
Oh, so I was just going to say, when Tyrion grabbed Daretham by the throat, I was
You
like,
mean Rousseau?
Rousseau.
What am I saying? And when Rousseau grabbed Daretham by the throat, my heart jumped into my mouth. I was like, oh no.
As soon as he said that, I was just like, oh, okay.
I really loved the little description of Daretham. Remember, like the little elven boy and the other elven boy with the horns starting to come in, and Pasha, but as a young woman, and
I
then
love that. Yeah.
From his perspective, yeah. And it's that moment where it flashes in, and he remembered he remembered the burning tree, he remembered all that, but he didn't quite remember that moment, but then he does. And even remembering, like, he's wounded, so he couldn't quite grab on the taint, but he finally did, etc. And that was fun to look back on and go, like, how would a Darkspawn have seen that? And yeah.
Yeah. I was very much on the edge of my seat during that whole scene. That was so good.
I will just say, sorry to interrupt, but there could have been a chance that Daretham might have died, and if he died then, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
good old PvP deaths.
PvP deaths, yes.
Sorry, I'm super curious. Pasha, what is Pasha thinking after, like, all the stuff that's happened. Not like the conversation with Daretham and Dandelion and Darren knowing Dandelion and all that.
I think currently, just it's mostly confusion and a lot of conflict. It's as I said, like in the scene with Russo, it's the idea of like he's been so far away for all of these years, and now he's within touching distance, and that it brings with it so much joy. The idea of like, I'm like, he's gonna be there. I'm gonna be able to see him. I'm gonna be able to touch him. I'm gonna be able to speak to him. But at the same time, I think it also brings a lot of pain. Of it has taken me over 20 years to get here, and I think on some level she is thinking, and that's 20 years I can't get back. That is 20 years I have spent so honed in on this one issue. What am I gonna do when this root ball of a problem has gone? Like, what do I do then?
He's in a bubble, and the bubble's starting to be able to pop.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, you know, like it's the joy of like, I'm gonna get to see him, but at the same time it's like, oh no, the bubble is popping. Yeah. Oh no, the bubble is popping. Mm-hmm. And then, I just very quickly want to say, I'm sorry, I don't know if my camera is able to pick up on this. I squeezed out 2 tears during that scene.
Yes. Oh, I got it. Yes. Oh, we saw it. It was so good. So good.
My acting lessons finally pay off.
Hey, you're better than I ever was, so.
And then the anticipation of like the few hours to get to the town after you've Pasha has realized that, you know, he's just over the bend.
Another Pasha scene that I also really enjoyed was her interactions with Beastmaster Athon. Mm-hmm. I was. Mm-hmm. It took a turn that I honestly, going into the conversation, I didn't see, because I really didn't think that Athon would be a love interest for anyone. But then, as he was talking with Pasha and I was, you know, writing the conversation, I started thinking, like maybe there might be something. So I put a little bit of a poke there, and then another poke there, and then it just kind of evolved into what it was. So I don't know if anything is going to come out of it, but I thought that the scene was still beautiful, nevertheless, and I thought it was really cool.
It was beautiful.
Maybe we will get Magic Griffin ride. Pasha and Athon.
That's true. Yes.
You can show him the world.
Yeah.
Shining, shivering, maybe even splendid.
Or you could do like the Titanic, you know.
Yeah.
Master
Just
Athon
do both at the same time. Just do both at the same time.
Master Athon will be like, Pasha, I'm flying. Pasha's like,
and then Pasha's just like, yes, you are, literally.
Literally.
Yes. I love the role reversal of all these like scenes of pop culture, and then Pasha and Athon, like the strong man and the even stronger woman.
Yes.
You mean the strong woman?
Yeah.
But I loved just the little character moment for both Leon and Rousseau in their talk. Like Rousseau just being, I can unwind now, and then Leon needing that pep talk.
Yeah, no, that was really nice, and I'm glad that Leon got like some advice from another like character, like
other than a book.
Yeah, other than a book. Whew, yeah, you know,
or a 1,200-year-old darkspawn.
Or 12, yeah.
Yeah, like Rousseau knows how to like, you know, guide someone like he's a father, and then I mean, Leon is very confused, especially about how to handle, you know, like this sort of situation, because he's way over his depth, especially with you know, the potential of instant death from you know, Templars.
A halberd, a lightning halberd, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
The scene with Balin and Rousseau when he was packing his things. I'm sure it might have been very difficult for Tommy, but I really appreciated and liked that he was not giving Balin all the information. Because Balin clearly wanted him and was like, why don't you just tell me now? Like, you hid this from me all this time. You just gave me their names. Why don't you just keep giving me more information? And Rousseau was like, no, because I'm not ready. Like, it's too painful for me to give the information, which is, as a parent, I'm sure is very difficult to say. But I really like it because I think it's setting up something for later. That'll be really interesting story-wise, instead of just coming out clean right there and there. Especially since you guys are meeting up supposedly with 2 of the Pentaviv Guardians next session. So
Imagine we do the whole session and we never interact with them.
we're just not gonna go.
We just sit in the background.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome.
And then Kimberly and Ken are like, it was really fun, but why did you bring us here, Hart?
Oh, I also really liked how Tommy used silence in his scenes, because there was a lot of where he would say something and then just sort of sit there, and just the little moments in between the sentences and the points was real. It brought a lot of weight to the conversation, and it brought a lot of tone to how everything was being said, and it felt more like personal, like especially between Balin and Rousseau. Of thinking about what do I want to tell this kid, and I know this, Balin wants to hear this, but he may not be ready, and Rousseau may not be ready.
That's a very good point, Sam. I actually wanted to tell both Tommy and Sam as players that during the audition process for this, I think I spoke with each of you individually on ways to bring up your emotional role-playing game. And I just wanted to tell both Tommy and Sam that you guys have been nailing it. Like, I see a huge improvement and a huge difference from how you guys are tackling emotional, deep scenes now from when you did back during the auditions. Like, I really do see a difference if you look back on your videos. So I just wanted to say, keep up the good work. Like, you guys are doing very good.
Really good. They did a good job.
I'm not mentioning Skull and Dominic and Callista because I honestly felt that they were pretty good at that and are still improving too. So you guys are actually doing great as well and improving. But
Thank you.
I wanted to specifically say that, and tell Tommy and Sam that I really do feel like you guys have been doing a great job, like improving since then.
Like for Sam, the nightmare sequence was really good. Just the whole way you set that up, and then you had the dialogue of the parents like being the villains for once. That was really cool. And then for Tommy, this rather than a sudden shock realization that Darren was who he was, it was that slow build up of the realization. And as soon as I like for the first second or two, I was like, Tommy, what do you owe? And I was like,
I think that was one of the suggestions I gave to both of them was, when you're doing a scene like that, slow down, because it really drives an impact on the scene, and it definitely showed that you guys utilized that in your scene. So
I did not. I was gonna kind of mention something about Tyrion. I did. So originally in this campaign, I just thought he's gonna be Norm Doctor. I didn't expect him to be full advocate, the turn as he is. But I think it's going an interesting way, especially with what he did with Pasha.
I
we haven't talked about
really
it.
like
Pasha Tyrion, that was amazing.
Pasha just seems to be discussing ethics with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just like, let me discuss the ethics of my religion.
I didn't expect to go that far with Tyrion and Pasha. Just that was. I didn't expect to go that much.
Like I think it got heated, but like it was like a friendly Like it wasn't like a how dare you
Yeah.
disrespect my opinion. It was more of like a friendly, like, you know, like especially at the end where they were like, you know, to differing opinions. There we go. Let's drink the tea.
It was a debate rather than an argument.
Yeah, it was a calm debate. It wasn't like a shouting match. It was just a calm debate between two reasonably right-minded people. And their
funny enough of which one who was harboring secrets for a blood mage, the other who hates blood mages.
Yeah. I still like the scene where I let her do all the talking for like her stuff, and Tyrion just goes, all right, well, here's what I see in this. You're not a failure. Tyrion generally sees passion not as a failure. It was just someone else had to do the action that caused that. So yeah.
I like how at least with Ethan, and he took the very simple slavery bad, doctor good, and it's extrapolated it out into all of these conversations and all these scenes, and then the sort of downfall of slavery. Yes, it is bad, but running away legally is bad as well, and you've got a lot of different repercussions from doing said actions. Though they're morally, pretty correct, they're also morally wrong in some circumstances.
I think I think it was episode 2. Yeah, episode 2. I think I answered the question where we answered the question of like what was the thing was feared the most or we regretted the most. I think the regret I mentioned was him actually escaping, because in Tyrion's mind, probably he's like, all right, maybe nothing has happened other than like getting saved by Thunder. But I think as a player, I'd see that something has been going on in like Amren's household after that, possibly that might have caused it because Tyrion ran away.
Like he could have cracked down on the other slaves he has and such.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I was gonna. Like, what if he's now being 10 times worse to the remaining slaves because of Tyrion? It's like Tyrion's actions could actively be causing the pain of these other people.
And he hasn't yet
and now we're going to meet someone. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm done. You can go. I already mentioned.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and now we're going to meet someone who got free legally, and it was okay, and it was all cool.
And that's why I think Tyrion would meet with Danline, because after hearing this, he's like, I need to know, am I doing the actual right thing, which he believes he is, but there's that moral quandary, and that's and I like how I liked with Leon, Tyrion and Leon, how where they were trying to reconcile. And I look at this like, actually Tyrion is somewhat wrong in this, because Leon is doing this because he wants to, and Tyrion's all about like you should get your own choice of what you want to do. It's like he's being a hypocrite on it now, because it's like she's learning blood magic, but he's not forced by anyone. He wants to learn blood magic to catch up with his parents, and Tyrion was looking at it like, no, you are right. If you want to do this, then why should I stop you? So
yeah, the nice thing about a lot of the characters are they have very, very different moral sort of standings towards different opinions and topics, and none of them are inherently wrong. It's just that the way that you live your life, the way that you go about doing some of these acts could be very antagonistic towards other people's worldview, which is nice, because our party isn't, yes, we're very harmonious, but there are some things that could cause disharmony, especially, how we go about our moral sort of standings. And unless, there's a long period of change or a big period of trust, like, for example, I'm going to just pull from Leon and Pasha. Like, if Pasha were to find out right now that Leon is a blood mage, she would 100% go to the nearest Templar and be like, yes, I'd like to report a crime. And but say 10, 15 sessions from now, we've gone through a few life and death battles. We've grown closer as characters. Something happens, and Pasha learns that Leon is a blood mage and has been doing blood magic the entire time she's known him. She would feel probably betrayed, but I mean, Callista would probably talk more about how Pasha should be feeling, but I think that, under certain circumstances, Pasha would be like, I don't agree, but I won't turn you in.
We'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's also going to be a thing, like if, say, with phylacteries, because that's technically blood magic. If Pasha finds out about phylacteries and then is like, wait, the people that bring in the blood mages are using blood magic to bring in the blood mages. So, like, that kind of factor of what other people are using it for could also very much affect it.
By that same vein, I was curious for Tommy, if you were to run into Corin now, and Corin recognized Daretham for who he is, and Corin was like, let's kill Daretham, or let's kill the Darkspawn, what would you do now?
Okay, so this deserves a little bit of like a pre-explanation before I just say the answer. Corin's been a very touchy subject for Russo. One detail that I left out is that he's only said his name once since Season 1. Like, he's just referred to him as his brother and won't really talk about him unless it's brought up or if he feels like that's the only comparative that he has. And Russo's whole thing was that he lived shrouded in darkness where he thought he had no real choice and that, like, he wasn't responsible for what he did. And when he realized that he was, it physically hurt him and broke him in many ways. So when Daretham said, I had no control, Russo immediately, like, lost the ambition for any real revenge. And he'd probably try to convince Corin to see the same way. But he wouldn't really be ultra gung-ho about it because he still has many of reasons to hate Daretham.
Yeah. Like, technically, Erthemiel was the one who killed your mother, but Daretham was the vessel used to do so.
Yeah. I mean, that was even a thing in Leon's conversation, was my eyes opened for the first time and it hurt.
Yeah.
And that's actually kind of what happened to Daretham this session when Pasha said the locusts, the swarm of locusts analogy, which was a perfect analogy because it was a swarm, it was a horde of stuff, and because I also recognize that from actual Dragon Age lore, so I love that it worked out that way where he was like, oh, and then that specific thing made him think about it, and like I said, he hasn't forgiven himself, but it allowed him to get the different perspective that he's gone on so much about for other people to get it for himself.
Yep.
I have a little fun fact from the kind of passion like Tyrion kind of moment. So remember Tyrion said something about, like, he said like the words that his master once said to him about like the whole roof and food, like stuff like that. That is actually, most of it is actually copied from the first session that Mark portrayed with Emery. That's that whole line.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember.
Like,
yep.
Yeah, so I'll use this and use it here. Like, so a little bit of a fun fact over there.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Yes, super well done.